Got to get that old school vibes going, man. Got to, man. I got my guy Corey Parts is here, aka the Fantasy Zach. Y'all can follow him on Twitter, man. Y'all know what it is. NBA Talk with Jay. We here every single day trying to hand out cash to the people, man. What's up with you, Corey? Everything cool? What you tell the
Ain't
people?
nothing much chilling. Definitely glad to be hopping on here, talking a little NBA with you. So we get ready to get to some nice slate, some college basketball as well. Playing that old CBS theme. Like I started watching hoops like right after that old CBS era. I came in the NBC, right? So I can remember because I'm a disgruntled New York Knicks fan. Like I left the franchise because you just can't be bad for 20 years, right? So I remember those games in the playoffs against the Bulls and the Heat where the Garden is rocking, they chanting defense before the game even start. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that old school basketball theme. So hopefully we can get some more old school basketball in New York, but it's probably going to be a while before that happens.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it, man, because that's when the NBA was real, man. That's when shit was real deal. Obviously, they weren't shooting as many 3-pointers, but real deal defense, man. They seemed like they cared about the game a little bit more as well. But it's still some money to be made, man. Obviously this is the NBA channel, so I guess we'll go ahead and talk about some NBA first, and then we'll get to some college basketball later, obviously with some free plays, man. But let's talk about this Knicks, man. You the New York guy. I know you say you're a disgruntled Knicks fan, but they're back, man. Past couple years, they are forced to be reckoned with. Obviously, this year they hadn't had as good a year, but starting to get back to playing some defense as well. Like I'd say they kind of getting back to their roots, playing on defensive first, and then let the offensive come to them. What you think about tonight's game? They going up against the Pelicans. Pelicans haven't been good on the road. What you think about this one?
No, and this is one of the spots tonight where I would back the Knicks. Like you said, they have played better recently, especially playing better at home, and that plays a big part of it. The thing about it is, see, I'm like the wrong person to ask about betting on the Knicks because I've had some of the most horrific bad beats I've had in my life have come at the hands of the New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm talking about like terrible bad beats. I can remember one time I was down in Atlanta for the year LSU won the SEC championship, the college football joint. So I had took out a preseason future on LSU to win the SEC. So I was going to go down there and watch the joint cash live in person. So I'm at Newark Airport. I put in like a 5-team parlay. Full disclosure, you never play a 5-team parlay. But the last leg was it was the Knicks was playing. I think they might have been playing the Pistons, and I had the total. I had the over. It was like over 207. You know what I'm saying? Legendary bad beat, right? So I'm at the restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Lenox Mall with Shorty. I'm checking the phone. I'm like, okay, this is the year Chris Paul was on OKC. So OKC comes back. I'm like, how about I'm about to hit a 5-team parlay. I put the phone down, you know what I'm saying? So the next morning, put Shorty in the Uber. I get up, you know what I'm saying? I go to check my account, and I'm like, wait, I'm short. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the Knicks, it was like 203, right? The 207 was the total. So 203, I see the score at 203, like 5 minutes left. Son, you know under cash?
Oh man, I remember it because look, that OKC team took a lot of my money as well, man. I thought they was gonna be a bad team, and Chris Paul came over there and really changed the whole culture over there. Really got SGA balling some of the young guys. But yeah, I can't believe with 5 minutes to go, they only scored 3 or 4, less than 4 points.
It was either Randall or one of the Morris brothers was at the line to send the game to overtime and miss both free throws. And I'm like, yo, this is the wildest thing. Like, I didn't see it straight up. I saw it on the replay. You can Google it. I forgot. It's got to be sometime early December of 2019. They actually did like, what's your man name on ESPN?
Stephen A.
The Bad Beats.
Bad Beats. Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, Scott Van Pelt, Scott Van Peasy actually broke the game down on bad beats. And they was like, it was one of the worst time bad beats of ever. So ever since then, I'm like, I know when the bad beats come with the Knicks, but I do like them tonight. Listen, it's funny how the Pelicans, right? They won probably the most coveted number 1 draft pick since LeBron James. Mm-hmm. And the franchise is going downhill since then. At some point, Zion Williamson will be a New York Knick if he can ever get his weight together and get back on the court itself.
Yeah, cuz he definitely got to get his weight going, man. And like you say, it was crazy because we've been hearing stuff about that all season that he may go to New York. But for tonight's game, man, I do like the Knicks, man. We hopped on them. I went live last night. We hopped on them -2.5. I also going to put a little something on them half unit at -4 as well. I think this is a nice get right spot for the Knicks coming off 2 straight home losses. You got the Pelicans here where they're a fade on the road. I always say they're 1-9 straight up and 2-8 against the spread on the road versus East teams, and 1-9 straight up last 10 road games. So like I say, it's not necessarily as simple as they're a fade on the road, but I'm willing to go against them on the road. They actually turn up at the house. That's when you want to back the Pelicans when they're at the house. On the road, they're somewhat of a doormat. So I'm riding with the Knicks here to bounce back. Third straight home game as well, off 2 home losses. I think they get right today. The Pelicans not a run and gun type of team, Corey. That's what you need to beat the Knicks. You need a hot offense like the Hornets, somebody to run them off the floor. Running that slow pace, slow tempo with the Knicks is going to get you 8 up. Their half-court defense will eat you up, and that's exactly what I think happened here. I like the Knicks in this one, and they also got Kemba Walker back the last game. I know he's not the best defender, but I think he'll rain from 3 tonight.
And I think Kemba in that building is important too, especially with the Knicks going into a slump right now. I think he was important to get them out. Coming into the season, that Knick win total was 41.5. Everybody was like, well, there's no way the Knicks can be the 4th seed in the East one year, then not win 42 games the next year. Guess what? You know what I'm saying? That number steamed up to 43. Now that under my cash, I didn't bet that win total. I stayed away from it. But it's interesting to see. Basically, what ended up happening was with the Knicks this season, last year, their 3-point defense was splendid. So they kind of regressed to the means, and you've seen that in the record. But I do like them tonight against really one of the doormats of the leagues in the Pelicans. They'd probably be changing coach again at the end of this year.
Exactly. Yeah, and I like Willie Green, but I'm not necessarily sure he went to the right situation. The Pelicans really need like the right type of coach. And Knicks, number 6 in defensive rating over the last 5 games. They starting to get back to their to how they were playing last year, guys. Let's go over here to this. Let's go over here to the streets of Dallas, man, where I'm at. You dig what I'm saying? We got the Suns versus the Mavs here. It's gonna be a tough game. I must say, I'd be all over my Mavs here if it wasn't 5 games in 7 nights. And it's a back-to-back 3 and 4, all that good stuff. I just got a crazy feeling that we were like, because we're playing some good ball right now. Where I must say, like I'm talking about won 10 out of 11 games, number 1 team, number 1 defensive rated team over the last 5 games and the last 10 games in the NBA. So we're not known for defense. We obviously with Luka and KP, we got scores over there. When we start to play defense, it's going to be a scary sight, man. So I still lean the Mavs here. I hadn't betted yet. I want to sprinkle some on them personally, but I know that the Suns looking good. They basically own us as well. The Suns have beaten the Mavs 8 straight times, 2 times already this year, even though we didn't have Luka. But the Suns, obviously, more rested team coming off 2 days rest. Corey, you taking the Suns tonight?
Yeah, I'm on the Suns tonight. Here's the thing, and listen, there's no such thing as an absolute in sports betting, especially particularly in betting on the NBA. But there are some things that I do like to follow. One of them is, like we discussed last night, that 4th game of that road trip with a veteran team, you know what I'm saying? A younger team that can handle it, a veteran team. Sometimes you'll see what you saw in the second half from the Raptors last night. That road trip tried to catch up with them, and Dallas was able to come back and get that W. Also, I like to fade short road favorites. A road favorite of 4 points or less. That's the spot that the Suns are in tonight. But like you said, the Suns have won 8 straight games against the Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? The 2 games they played this year, 2 wins by a total of 15 points. So I'm on the Suns tonight. I'm going to ride the Suns on the money line. Not to mention the fact, it's kind of like I'm not so sure. Like Dallas has been probably playing the best basketball in the NBA, them and the Grizzlies, since Christmas Day. But either Dallas win or lose. I think Dallas might have lost. They lost to Utah on Christmas. They've been rolling since then. Like I said, 9-1, like you said, more recently on the money line the last 10 games, doing well against the spread as well. And the Mavericks have turned around their fortunes. They're playing better at home. But this is a spot right here where I'm looking at the Suns. Here's the thing. Those short road favorites. The Suns have been favorites by 4 or less points 3 times this year. They won all 3 games in a blowout fashion. So it's one of the spots where they tend to do well in. Everything inside of me is saying this is a fade. The public, hop on the fade the public, fade the short road favorites, hop on the Mavericks. But the Suns' success against the Mavericks is really the reason why I'm backing the Suns in this contest tonight. Trust me, I do not want to be on the Suns. I'm not a big Chris Paul guy, but I think with this being a nice main attraction game, I'm going to have to back the Suns, hold my nose and back the Suns.
Yeah, that is a good point because like there's a lot. I don't think I've seen many people on the Mavs today. That doesn't have anything to do with the outcome, possibly. I mean, obviously, unless the refs get step in. But TNT game, I must say, the last few TNT or NBA TV game or ESPN that I was on and everybody's on it, I took an L, man. So we'll see. Like I say. Even though the Mavs, they're 4-0 against the spread last 4 playing on the back-to-back. I hate the fact that this is their 5th and 7 though. You see what I'm saying? Like that is
excellent back-to-back team. They're an excellent back-to-back team, the Mavericks. They've only lost in one back-to-back situation this year.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. Like I say, the Suns are 0-6 last 6 versus winning team, but they're 5-1 against the spread last 6 road games. Been beating up on some bad teams, but we'll see. They do have the number 3 offensive rating last 5 games as well. So Suns are cooking offensively.
How do you feel about the Mavericks this year? Coming into the season, their win total was 47.5. And I was like, oh, that's a big play to the under right there. You know what I'm saying? I just look at the team. First of all, Porzingis is not my guy. And I'm like, the rest of the team around Luka is not that good. But I'll be honest, watching them recently, Jalen Brunson is stepping up and playing well. Hardaway Jr. plays well. So I'm like, okay, it should be more talent around Luka. Here's the thing. Are they going to be in the second round of the playoffs this year, the Mavericks?
The Mavericks will be in the second round of playoffs this year. And you know why I tell you this? I think it's bigger than this, and it's also kind of why I like tonight. I think that Luka is one of the new faces in the NBA, and I've seen this time and time again. When the NBA wants a certain guy to be on the face of the NBA, they'll kind of get some help. That's the only thing I can say. So I do think that he will get a little bit of help, in my opinion. I think he's just one of those newer faces of the NBA, and I mean, we'll see what happens tonight, but I do think they'll get past the first round. And you know what I'm going to tell you? That nobody knows this. The X factor for the Mavs is Dorian Finney-Smith. So it's Jalen Brunson as well, but defensively, Dorian Finney-Smith is the X factor. He's taking his game to another level. He's knocking down threes, and he can lock up the best player on the floor for the other team. So I can't wait to see Finney-Smith go up against Devin Booker tonight.
Devin Booker, the basket cooker. What do you think of Luka's weight this season? I think like Luka's out of shape.
Yeah, no, he came in very out of shape, but like later he took that long time off. Yeah. I kind of think that like they were saying it was health, that he had COVID or whatever, or not. Okay. He didn't have COVID. He was in health and safety protocols, but he had an ankle injury as well. So, like I say, even though I like the Mavs, you can call me a Mavs fan, but people know on my show I do not. I'll bet against them. I was on the Raptors +4 yesterday. Wow. I know my spots when to take them, and I know when to stay off of them. And I thought that they were looking ahead to this game yesterday versus the Raptors. Like they didn't even play their best game, still end up winning by 4 basically on accident. Like I'm watching the game, that was not our big effort. They wanted this game. They wanted the top team in the West over there, double revenge spot, lost 8 straight to them. I'm sure Kidd wants this one as well. So it's going to be a big game. I can't wait to watch it. But yeah, Luka was out of shape. I think he'll be ready for the playoffs. They're getting to the second round this year. I think they're a more dangerous team this year than they were last year for sure. But
yeah, no doubt. Listen, like I said, I just want to see how they continue to build around Luka and get that organization going in the right direction. I think you got the right head coach in there. So if you're a Maverick fan, you got to feel good about the head coaching situation. I think you got to steal with that one.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited about this team, especially this run right here. They're really showing that they can play with the best of them. They went over there to Memphis and smacked them boys up by 30 points as well while they was rolling, broke their 11-game win streak. So we'll see what happens in this one tonight. Let's talk about this late game, Corey, before we get to some college basketball picks. We got the Pacers here versus the Warriors. I said it earlier that Sabonis probably going to sit out. This is he's likely about to get traded. He's not finna go force himself off on the back-to-back. I feel like when they got the win last night, they was finna lay down one of these games. It was either going to be last night or tonight. Obviously, they got the win last night. This is probably the lay down spot for me. Then you see LeVert on the injury report as well. That just confirms it even more. Warriors, the only way I can look in this one, even though they land a big number without Draymond Green, I think this would be a bet against the Pacers spot, sleepy spot in the second half. They could get smacked up by 20 in this one. What you think?
That Warrior third quarter run is probably going to hit them tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know how they still do that. All of these years they come out and they really beat you up in the third quarter. I'm looking at this team right here. Like, I don't mind laying big wood, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mind laying big wood with the Golden State Warriors, especially, in a year like this year. When they were in their heyday, they were terrible against the spread. But obviously now playing much better against the spread, probably the best or second best team in the NBA this year. But now what I think is funny about this spot right here is Golden State is not in good form right now either. But they can never be as bad as the Pacers are. You cannot trust the Pacers at all. You know what I'm saying? Like ever since they got rid of Nate McMillan, which was a mistake, they brought in that dude from Nick Nurse staff. He was terrible. Try to get it back going again this year. But I'm looking at a Pacer team. You know, I read something crazy about the Pacers. The Pacers, they haven't had a lottery pick in like 30 years. So they're kind of just been stuck in like that purgatory spot where they're not that bad, but they're not that good. So they don't really have no big time draft picks. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to take they need a total tear all the way down and rebuild the joint. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Pacers need right now. It's not a team that I can back at all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. There could be spots to back them, but this isn't one of them. Like I say, I talked about this one earlier. I know that the Warriors still without Draymond Green, but their defense is still there. Had a number 3 defense in the defensive rating over the last 5 games in the league. So I see them clamping down on this one. Without Sabonis, they were already without Turner. They're without Sabonis. He's already ruled out. LeVert, questionable with a left calf injury, which could lead to Achilles injury. Brogdon knows about that. I don't even know why Brogdon would play this game. You've been had a sore Achilles for the past 3 weeks or past month. Why would you play a back-to-back in a meaningless game, but I mean, you're not going to the playoffs. You're not about to win this game. So it's really just coming in here with some pride, pretty much. Any player on the team could get traded. We know that Turner and Sabonis probably finna be gone. So the Warriors, the only way I could look in this one, I know it's up to 13 now, but I may have to sprinkle some on 13, and especially waiting to see if LeVert without. I think he'll sit. I think they know that it's just a bad spot for him, and I really do think that they'll lay down in this. It's hard. I hate to say that because we talk about the NBA, NBC teams never would lay down. I don't give a damn who they were. They're not laying down. They come to play their best game. It's a new age in NBA, and I'm starting to see it. I can see the Pacers not even motivated to come in here.
And then I don't know how deep they are onto this road trip right now. Maybe this is their first game on a road trip, but they just don't look good. They're in poor form. When I saw this was the late night game, I was like, oh, I got to see what's on the college slate tonight because I like to get a win in the books before I hit the sack. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I can't.
This is their third game in 4 nights. This is their third game in 4 nights, all on the West Coast over there. They played the Clippers, and then they played the Lakers last night. So third game in 4 nights for the Pacers, all on the road here, all on the West Coast as well. Then they got Phoenix next and New Orleans. So this is the third game of a 5-game road trip. It's a terrible. They'll
probably lose the rest of these last 2 games on the money line and against the spread. But this is a big number, but. The Pacers are probably going to quit tonight. I can see them throwing in the white towel early. That third quarter is definitely going to hit, Corey. Let's go over here and get to some college basketball plays, man. We know that their game of the night is that Purdue versus Indiana spot, a little revenge fight as well. Unfortunately, Purdue coming off that double overtime game versus Illinois here. Do you think that they still have enough gas to get it done in Indiana tonight? Here's the thing about it is I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, they've won 9 straight games. Purdue's won 9 straight games. I'm about to say the Pacers against the Hoosiers. You know what I'm saying? Purdue, good form right now. 5-1 against the spread. Only 9-8 ATS this year. Indiana also playing good ball too. 6-0 on the money line. I want to say this is a live bet spot for me, but I just think the Boilermakers are too good. Like that like Jaden Ivey. This is going to be a lottery pick, maybe the first pick in the draft. That kid is crazy. They got that big dude, Edie, down there. He's tough to score on. They're a very good team, a Final Four caliber team. So I don't really, shout out to my guy Vaughn in the chat, I don't really want to. Indiana is the play. Indiana should be the play tonight. Like the smart side, the sharp side is the Hoosiers, but I can't fade Purdue tonight. They look too good in that double overtime game. What do you think about this one?
Man, it's Purdue or nothing for me. I get it. Like, I'm a double revenge guy. I like to take the home dogs in college basketball, all that good stuff. But I'm with you. Purdue is top tier. Like, there's one thing I noticed real quick betting college basketball. You don't really want to bet against the top tier teams. Like, they can come and burn you. Shit, the number may be looking small, or it looks like a spot to take the dog, and then they still come out there and blast them. So I know that the Sharps are on Indiana here, but Sharps lose too. You see what I'm saying? So the Purdue is the only way I can look in this one. I think they got the matchup edge, and I think that Indiana is a one-man show with Trace Jackson Davis. So, and he was banged up. He's going to play here today, but with a one-man show going up against the best, one of the better teams in the nation, I'm definitely not. I just can't take Indiana here.
You laying that number, or you on the money line?
No, I'm not betting the game. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I had only bet one college basketball game. I'm just saying it's Purdue or nothing for me in this one.
Okay.
I just end up staying away from it.
Yeah, I think I might. I probably, I'm going to go ahead and hit that 3.5, and then I'm going to look to get on that money line at halftime because I can see Indiana keeping it close, winning the first half, and then Purdue coming on strong down the stretch. Purdue has the better basketball players. They're the better basketball team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. In college, that really matters. In NBA, it's not necessarily the same. All these players can ball, but in college, you really do want to simply find the better teams with the better players out there, man. But yeah, Purdue is the only way I could look in this one. Let's go to another. What next game we're going to? I know we don't agree on that USC Colorado spot. I know you talked about the reverse line movement, man, but I did take USC -2. That was the only college basketball play I've made today. I know Colorado have beaten them 5 straight times. That they got the home court advantage over there, but I think that Colorado is taking a step back this year. Even though USC they had Evan Mobley leave, but they still got his brother there. They got the size advantage as well, the 4th tallest team in the league over there. So I think that the points in the paint and rebounds, USC gonna eat them boys up tonight. Obviously looking for a bounce back as well. They just had played 3 games in 6 days. It was a bad spot. They lost at the house versus Oregon. I think they finna go on the road and get this win versus Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado is tough. Once again, I would say, like, if you want to look at the sharp side of it, I think the sharp side of the bet would be on Colorado, but I think I'm gonna probably hit the total on this one. Opened up 137, seen it creep up to 137.5. Probably going in that direction. USC is a dead team, straight to the over, 4-1 to the over in their last 5. When it comes to picking a handicap on the side, I would fade the public and back Colorado, but I'm gonna stay away from the side in this one, and I'm gonna look more so at that total. I think they'll get over on that total. As far as the side go, man, UFC is tough to beat against. But from some of the numbers I'm seeing, they're getting really heavily bet tonight, and really a primetime spot with primetime spot with a ranked team not going up against a big time NBA game. So I do think this is probably a good night to fade USC. But I'm just going to go with the spread on this one. I haven't seen enough USC basketball to really say, okay, I'm going to back them in this spot when it seems like everything is working against them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'll be like I said, I'm not a huge college basketball guy, but I do try to pick my spots, dibble and dab or whatever. But obviously my NBA plays are bigger, but definitely I do like USC tonight. I don't think it's quite too public. I think that Purdue is probably one of the most public spots on the board as far as college basketball. But like I say, the public cashes. The public's cash sometimes, sharps lose. Matchup wise, I like USC in this one. Aside of any of the numbers, I do like them. But just the matchup, like I said, I think Colorado is really taking a step back this year. This will be the best team they faced all year.
Over 80% of the spread and 80% of the handle right now back in the Trojans. So,
and Corey, I don't mind when it's the handle and the spread. Like I have a problem when all the handle is there, but the money's not there. You see what I'm saying? So when I think the handle and what I say that sharps are backing, I think that the money percentages is bigger to me. So if it's heavily bet, but the money is agreeing with it, that's what I like. But if we
do have a spot like that tonight, in the Mountain West with Boise State and Utah State, Utah State taking 54% of the bets that are 1-point favorite at home. 75% of the handle is on Boise State. So I'm going to fade that. I'm going to hit that Boise State tonight. I think Boise comes out and do a good job in that one. So that's the way. Like that's just like a handicap from from a knowing behind the window point of view. Not so much on breaking down and capping the teams, but Boise State versus Utah. They have won 2 straight games versus Utah. They're coming in on a 9-game winning streak, Boise State. So I'm gonna go with Boise State catching that versus Utah. That's the late night play tonight. That might be out here on the East Coast. That might be an 11 o'clock start or something. No, that's the that Boise and Utah is I don't know. It started late tonight. Might be
they over there on the west. They over there on the West Coast.
Oh, that's only 9 o'clock. That's only 9 o'clock, so that's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, them Boise State made me a ton of money last year. I can't even lie to you. I hadn't bet them a ton this year, but yeah, that's the only way I could look in that one. But Utah State, they're not a doormat. It's definitely gonna be a good game, I must say. I can't wait to see. But yeah, I wouldn't talk you out of Boise in there. When any other, what you think about this Gonzaga game, man? Is it obviously their numbers are always going to be inflated for a reason. Best offense by far. I never really can respect Gonzaga because of the conference they play in, man. I'm sorry. Like, I was all over Baylor last year, and that they going up against some real dogs, man. Lost versus Alabama this year, but like I say, going up against their conference, I don't bet them. I don't bet against them. They own their conference. I'm not letting this amount of points though. What you think? Is this smack?
Yeah, when they play when Gonzaga played Baylor in the title game, it was almost like a prep school playing like a jail. You know what I'm saying? Like they was playing like a prison. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, you could really tell a stark difference between two teams. But listen, here's the thing. If you're going to lay 16 in college basketball, you do it with Gonzaga. They can cover these big spreads. Not great ATS last year, but have been doing a better job this year. So I don't mind Gonzaga. The other college game I had a lean on that I got some numbers on that, some of the people that seem to know these things. This is Sun Belt. I don't know how much Sun Belt basketball you might watch, but UT Arlington and Arkansas State. Arkansas State is getting 70% of the bets, only like 40% of the handle. So this could be a spot for UT Arlington. UT Arlington, one of the teams in the Sun Belt Conference, playing some better basketball this year. So that's another look too, if you want to dig that deep into it, or maybe that's too degenerate for you. You know what I'm saying? But that's something I'll probably get in on to tonight as well.
Yeah, Vaughn sounded like he liking Gonzaga over there. I know they scored 93 plus points in 5 straight games and 110 plus in the last 3, man. There's definitely NBA numbers over there. So
no
it's going to be, I must say, man, San Francisco is not a pushover though. They're not a pushover, but I'm definitely not stepping in front of Gonzaga. It's definitely going to be a good one, man.
Bill Russell went to the University of San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so exactly. He was like, dude that went out there, Bay Area cat. So no, they're not pushovers. They do got some ballers in the Bay Area, but they're not up to the level of Gonzaga. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Any questions you got for me? I'm glad to answer any questions, my brother.
Hey, so when how long you been doing this YouTube joint? Because I've been seeing you on here. I feel like before 2018 you've been doing this, right? Like before it went legal.
Yeah, I was on SB. I was with SBR like 3 years ago. I started with them, and so obviously they sold their
Gabe was over there. Gabe warranty.
Yeah, I know Gabe. He knows me as well. Yeah. So they basically sold their company, went a different route, and then I started, even with still working with them, I started my own channel. I said I want to do my own thing. I don't want to have to ask them, can I bring a guest on? I want to bring any guest on I want any day at any time. Do the show at any time I want. So this is my channel right here that I just started. I'm CEO of this here right here. This is my shit. So I just wanted to start my own thing for the people, giving out free picks every day. College basketball, NBA, NFL, whatever I'm betting, I basically come on here and let my people know.
No doubt, you got a nice following. You built up a nice thing for yourself as well, so that's good. That's what's up. And like you said, that ownership, you being the CEO, as somebody who works in the mainstream media, that's very important. You know what I'm saying? It's because anything I do, somebody got to say, okay, you can do that. You know what I mean? So it's different when you get to go ahead and do that on your own and do that yourself. You know what I'm saying? What I was going to ask you is, how about the when you look to handicap these games, particularly in the NBA? Like I told you, my thing with that fourth game of the road trip, that short road favorites. Do you have any auto fades in your handicapping?
Yeah, I do have auto fades. Like I say, when you get a super fatigue spot, like I say, my Mavs are not in a good spot. 5th game in 7 nights, I usually bet against it, especially if it's 5 and 7 on the road, or I'm catching a 4th game in 6 nights on the road, something like that. It is an absolute terrible spot. Obviously they didn't always cash, and it is starting to be a lot more built into the line these days. The past couple of years it is. Before that, the odds, I'm not gonna say they weren't on it, but the rest advantage has really been keyed on in the past couple of years once they've seeing how much it really does matter with the NBA games. Just the rest advantage, getting sleep. They actually did a whole study on that. I could go on that about all day, but rest advantage, like looking at how the teams are playing over the last 5 games. It's basically like, what have you done for me lately? Are you in good form right now? Are you balling? You know what I'm saying? Are you playing really good ball? That's when you want to take some of these teams when they're, like I say, playing their best basketball of the season. And it goes the other way as well. If they're in a slump, keep betting against them. Don't expect these guys just to just to wake up the next morning and okay, now we feel like we want to play. When they're in those slumps, man, or they're missing some players, or they're just not in a good spot, or showing that they're not good on the road. So really, the trends have been my friends of late, Corey. Looking at rest advantage and looking at the trends. My guy Shark always say it's the consistency to the inconsistency. So I like looking at those trends.
That I tell you what, you got to. I wore their ass out last night. To be 100% honest with you, but I got that one off for you, Terry Rozier, 20 plus. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to catch that one last night. That felt good. We got Big Joe Embiid in there last night, who was playing like an MVP. But I will say though, I just took a look. We do got some full slate tomorrow night. I do see some lines up tomorrow night. Here's an interesting one: the Bucks laying 9 versus the Chicago Bulls tomorrow night. Man, the Bucks at home this year have been horrific. So that could be a good spot for the Bulls just off my first glance at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I must say I hadn't went through the games, but just looking at them I'd be doing a late night show as well, looking at some games. I had to look at some things, but just on the cusp of it, I would say initial lean, I would look towards backing the Bulls there. My problem is that the Bucks are full strength now, and they have they got Drew Holiday back. So that's why the line is real high. Because let me just look and see real quick that these two teams play already, because I think this might be a revenge spot for the Bucks as well. Now they hadn't played so far this year, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I must say I'm not in a hurry to lay 9 with the Bucks. I know that the Bulls, they don't necessarily have a ton of size down there, but as far as the guards, I think they could possibly hang tough in this one. Right on the cusp of it, I would be only looking towards the Bulls in this one, but I would have to look deeper into it. Probably won't be a game I'll be looking into. I must say, I'm looking at these Nuggets laying 4 versus the Grizzlies tomorrow. I don't know about that one. I know they were without Bane and stuff, but the Nuggets just showed me something last night, man. This team doesn't have it, man. I'm sorry. They're not a top 4 team in the West.
No, the Nuggets are not right this year. I liked them a lot last year. Coming into the season, I was very high on the Nuggets, even without Jamal Murray. But I think losing Michael Porter Jr. hurts. They're not playing as well as they played last year. Now, here's the thing. I'll be honest. I'm not really big in the futures market, but I could see me taking a sprinkle on them to win the West sometime when that number gets real low, just because the talent is there. They may have the best player in the game in Jokic. You know what I'm saying? You'll get Murray back sometime in the second half of the season. Hope to have him ramped up by the playoffs. I doubt you get Porter Jr. and MPJ back this year. So I do like him. I started off the season betting the Nuggets heavily. I will be on the Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. That's the only way I could look. One I'm looking at here, I don't even have a spread for this one yet. I can tell you this right now. I was telling my girl earlier that I kind of wanted some Philly cheesesteak sandwiches tomorrow. You dig what I'm saying? And I see the Clippers playing the Sixers tomorrow. I'd be in the business. The line will be high. Yeah. I think that's probably going to be a good spot for the Sixers. And another one here, you got the Pistons coming off their win versus Sacramento, and also the Jazz coming off their loss versus the Rockets as well. The Jazz aren't necessarily in good form. I think they will probably get back right versus the Pistons tomorrow. So let's just be looking at
see that. Let me ask you this: could the Mavericks beat the Jazz in a 7-game series?
The Mavs can beat the Jazz in the 7 game. The Jazz have not shown consistency until they start playing defense every single night, and that's what I'm be looking towards tomorrow. Them to lock up defensively, but it's the perimeter defenders. I don't know who's going to guard Luka. They don't necessarily have any lockdown defenders. Conley's too small. I'm not necessarily sure who do they have enough dogs over there, and their bench got worse as well from last year. I feel like there was unfortunately Donovan Mitchell got hurt, but that was one of their best chances to get a championship. If you ask me, as far as like the full team being going unnoticed as well, right? Because now they're on everybody's radar. It's not like people have plenty of film on them. We know what they like to do: shoot a ton of threes. If they're making them, they're good. If they're not, they can lose to teams like the Houston Rockets, like they did last night. But I do think they'll bounce back tomorrow.
Money line at the end of the third quarter too, got it at like 225. So I was like, that was a good one last night. You know what I mean? I actually took a couple dollars out of the account last night because you know what I'm saying. I just want to let it sit in there and just live bet stupid shit all night. You know what I'm saying? With you being in Texas, how does that, like, you're not legal in Texas? You probably never be legal in Texas. You just offshoring it.
Now, I do think it'll be legal. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like I said, I'm not pushing this book, but I do bet at Bovada. I'm going to be betting. I may try that point. I was going to ask you, what's up with that points bet? Can I bet them in Texas?
You got that's legal joint. You know what I'm saying? They got to be come to your state and regulations and stuff like that. So, number points bet is a cool book. You know what I'm saying? They definitely have some good props. You know, all the rage right now in the legal states are the single game parlays. You don't really have that option offshore. But those single game parlays can be like a Ponzi scheme too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful with them joints.
Yeah, no, they want you to bet that. Let me just say that they want you. I mean, if you hit on them, that's cool. You're gonna give all that shit back. But yeah, I'll bet on Bovada, Bookmaker, Heritage. I can bet on books like that. So I mean, I it's still gonna be some backroom spots as well. But I can place my bets and get my money. That's not the problem. But yeah, it's definitely not legal. I think it will be at some point. You got gambling in Oklahoma, you got gambling in Louisiana. Why you want everybody to go to them? You should want people to come to Texas, bro. But that's what I'm looking at. That's why I say if you didn't have much else, man, we go ahead and get out of here. Any more questions? Shit, I'm happy to answer whatever, my brother.
No doubt, dog. Just let's get back together one day next week on a Wednesday or Friday when we got a big slate and really break down some NBAs. But now, definitely, best luck to everybody in the chat. Best luck to you tonight. Like I said, I gave you a couple college basketball joints I'm on, but really, I hate to say it, but my play tonight is going to be on the Phoenix Suns, and I guess I might money line parlay Purdue in Phoenix.
Gosh, I couldn't talk you off. Like I say, it's not necessarily the fatigue spot. If I'm going with the fatigue and the rest advantage, the Suns off 2 days rest. They definitely had a rest advantage that my Mavs could possibly melt down late in this one. But I do think that we'll be up for this game. Unfortunately, we've lost 8 straight to the Suns. They do own us. I'll say it, but this could be one of the better chances. Not necessarily rest advantage, but we have a team right now. We got some defense. We're catching them without Aiden as well. 10 out of 11. It's a 10-10 game. Luka, the poster child of the NBA. We'll see what happens, man. But I understand the Suns. If it wasn't my Mavs team and I knew we weren't playing so well, I'd probably be on the Suns here on the road. But it's the Knicks for me, guys. We hopped on them last night. That's my favorite play of the day. I think we finna smack them Pillies up. And that's what we're doing. Now, heavy lean to the Warriors as well. And we on USC -2, man. Let's get some cash. I appreciate everybody for tuning in as always, man. Even Vaughn coming through. He got to check out Corey on the show, man. I'll come on there and talk some NBA on y'all as well. If y'all don't know Corey,
we'll definitely get y'all up there.
Yeah. He's from NBA, from NBC Sports Edge, the same one that Will Capper is on, man. So hey, I'll come on and talk some NBA with y'all any fucking time, my guy. I appreciate you doing this show with me. Let's get some cash as always. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out.
No doubt.